Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Study Island Summer and Fall Release Overview. My name is Karen Burkhart. I'm the Product Manager for Study Island, and I'm happy to be here with you today to tell you what is coming. We're going to start by actually recapping some of the enhancements that we've released in the past several months. Then we'll talk about what's coming this summer and this fall for the platform, the Study Island platform. Then we'll talk about some content updates that are coming for state standards. So let's go ahead and jump in with our spring enhancements recap. A big focus that we worked on and released actually in last February was a game-based version of our group sessions. So we introduced two new modes of group sessions, a challenge and a race mode, that are really designed to increase the fun factor for your students. So there is a competitive leaderboard that displays during the challenge and the race mode, so students can have some fun competing with their peers and see where they rank as they're going through their questions. And there's also a sort of a fun and silly nickname generator that students love. We've gotten really, really great feedback on both of the new group sessions game-based modes as well as the nickname generator. And so we've been having a lot of fun since the release of these two new group sessions, monitoring the usage, and we're seeing so much more usage of our group sessions feature, and we're so glad that teachers and students are loving it so much. So if you haven't tried it yet, we hope you will soon. We also introduced a number of new lessons in the past spring, including video lessons. So our goal with these new lessons is really to make the lessons fun and engaging for students. They include a two-part instructional and guided practice video, and they are accessible through the teacher toolkit and in the student lessons. So we hope that you've been able to check these out and that your students are enjoying this new format. Now let's get started talking about what's coming this summer and in the fall. In the past year, we've spent a lot of time going out and talking to teachers and finding out what they really want to be able to see and do when they log into Study Island. We spent a lot of time at school sites and at conferences and in user testing, talking to teachers, and in every meeting that we had, we asked, what do you want to be able to see and do immediately when you log into Study Island? What is that most important set of information and actions that you want to be able to take? And so very, very consistently, what we heard teachers say is that I want to be able to log in and see immediately what my students have been working on and how they've been doing. And I want to be able to easily find and assign content to them based on that information. So our focus for this summer and the fall is to address those two main requests, giving you the information that you need to see right when you log in without having to go run reports. So that's going to save you time. And then being able to easily find and assign content, including lessons and flashcards. So we're looking forward to rolling out these enhancements this fall. And I'm going to hand it off now to my colleague and partner, Hugh O'Donovan, to take you through these enhancements.
Okay, thanks, Karen. I'm Hugh O'Donovan. I'm the product owner for Study Island. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to show you all a lot of these new enhancements that Karen just talked about for Study Island. I work very closely with Karen and the development team to put all of your hopes and your dreams and all the things you want Study Island to do into effect. So we're actually going to step back a little bit and look at some of the things that we've released this school year. And we're going to start with the group sessions that Karen mentioned. Group sessions is a feature that has been in Study Island for several years. It's been very well received as an opportunity for teachers to not only have a whole class assignment, but also use that technology in their classrooms. Well, we've gone in then and upped the engagement factor a little bit. We've gone in and added some gamification and some points, and I want to show you each of the different ways very quickly. The first is challenge. This is still very teacher-led. It allows the teacher to control the pace of the assignment, but the students then are racing on their own with each question to answer them. You do have the ability to adjust the timer or turn the timer off if you want to, and that great nickname generator that Karen mentioned as well. These functions and these options are available for both the challenge and the race group sessions. And the best part, though, is that all of the reporting that you've come to depend on from Study Island, especially with group sessions, is the same. You can go in and do a whole class report or an individual item analysis for a single student. Anything that you need to look up from a data perspective, you will continue to be able to do in Study Island. We also recently added a new admin dashboard. For you admins, when you log in, you probably have noticed this new dashboard that gives you just some high-level key metrics for your school for the last 7 days. Karen mentioned the importance of that fast access to data, having that data right at your fingertips. And we've started that here for admins, showing admin, teacher, and student logins, the amount of time spent in practice, questions answered, and blue ribbons. And coming this summer, we're going to have the same dashboard for our districts as well. And so with districts, rather than seeing the grade level, you'll actually see the number, the school name, but then each of the main categories as well. So you'll be able to see for each school the number of logins and time spent for the past 7 days. And each of these can then be opened into a much larger report if you need to go in and dig a little deeper, maybe go and look at a specific grade level or specific students. You have that access now. Along with this work, we've also done some work on Sensei. In Study Island, we've seen that teachers want to see both how are my students doing today, what's their best score, but then also that really, really important cumulative score. How are my students doing overall? And so now in Sensei, our data dashboard, again, that great place to go for instant feedback, we've added that toggle that lets the teacher switch between a student's best score and their cumulative score. And you can see here, we're looking at results by best score. And so if I take a peek at something like lesson and morals, I can see that all 13 of my students have earned a blue ribbon. So that's great. However, if I switch to cumulative score, you can see that number has adjusted. And so seeing that, I might want to go take a little closer look. So I'm going to switch it back to best score, go right in there to lesson and morals, and here's my class, and I can see everyone's best score. I can also see what the passing goal was sent. Since we last year put in the ability to adjust that, it does carry over. So these are our best scores, but if I switch it to cumulative, I can see that I actually have a couple of students who overall have really struggled with this topic. Yes, they got that blue ribbon the one time, but maybe Jean and Peter and Reed need a little bit more practice on this topic. And so I can again filter just by those kids and create that assignment for them right there. So as Karen mentioned, our focus for this summer is that real easy access to data. How fast can I get data? And then how fast can I take action with that data through creating assignments? This is going to lead us into our big summer release that we're all very excited about here at Study Island, and that is the new teacher content search page. This content search page is going to allow you to log in and dig in right away to find the content that you want to be able to assign to your students. You'll start by selecting your state, grade level you want to work with, and then subject, and you'll have a list of all the various topics available in Study Island. You can filter by topic if you want to, or you have the ability to filter by standard as well. Once you select a topic, you can either click on it or select it from the drop-down. You'll be able to see each of the different resources specifically available for that topic. And if you, of course, select multiple topics, you'll see multiple resources as well. Now, these are all resources that have long been available in Study Island. The big shift now is the ability to assign these resources. All of you know you've used those practice questions and you've assigned the questions to your students. And we've heard from you, and we've heard from you a lot. I want the students to do the lesson. I want to make the students do the lesson because it's going to ensure that they do a better job on the practice questions. Well, now, when creating a practice and instruction assignment, you have the ability to select the order that the students complete activities in. Maybe you want them to do the flashcards before the practice questions. You can change the order of the topics that they want, and then you can enforce that order. You also still have the ability to increase or decrease the number of questions and the passing percentage as well. But now what you're doing is actually including that lesson as part of the assignment. The rest of the setup process is one that you're already familiar with and already comfortable with in Study Island. We've now created an assignment that is going to require our students to go in, complete a lesson, complete some flashcards, and then complete the topic themselves. Hopefully, with the work on the lessons and the work on the flashcards, they'll do well. So we're setting them up together for success. The other release that we have coming later this fall is a new student activity page. And this is one that personally I'm very, very excited about. You know, we have Sensei, and it's a fantastic dashboard, and we have so many reports in Study Island that allow you to pull data in lots of different ways. But this, to me, is sort of the culmination of all of that into one simple place to go and get data very, very quickly. If you have multiple classes, you'll be able to select the class that you want. Just really easy, see the number of students you have. You've got your totals of time spent and blue ribbons for this week and the previous week. And then you have your nice list of students with their high level, again, time spent blue ribbons. And then we've added this new color coding system that allows you to see very, very easily what are your students doing right now. You can walk around with this open on your iPad or at your desk on your desktop. You'll be able to see Jackson is online. He's working on it, adding fractions. Meredith is online. She's working on dividing fractions. April's online, but she's not doing anything. She's idle. So you'll have that visibility into what your students are currently doing. You also have that visibility into when they last logged in. It's really easy to see when they say, but ma'am, I did my homework last night. I swear Study Island didn't record it. And you'll be able to see, well, it's telling me you didn't log in for 2 weeks. Now, of course, if a student always says that to you, please call us and let us know. We want to make sure we didn't miss something, but you'll have that visibility as well to be able to easily see when the student was last in and how they did. But more than just a sort of live view of what your students are doing, if you expand the student's card, you'll see all of the assignments that they're working on. We have 2 main sections. The first is the assignment snapshot. These are all the assignments that I, as a teacher, have created for my students. I can see the title, I can see the results, the time spent, where are they at? The check mark tells me they've completed. The check mark with the circle tells me they're currently working on it. I can see the ones they haven't started. Then I can dig deeper and get that assignment details. Well, I conveniently named this one Rounding Numbers Quiz, so I'm assuming the topic is rounding numbers, but what if I just called it Quiz 3? Looking at the assignment details lets me see exactly what's on this assignment. And of course, the item analysis lets me dig deeper into how the student performed on the assignment. The practice section is where students either go in on their own, or if they go in their NWA learning path and work in Study Island, you'll see the grade level that they worked on, the topic that they worked on, and then how they did. And you have the same results, the same time spent when the work was completed, and you'll also have access to that item analysis as well. So again, we've tried very hard to provide you those two things that Karen mentioned at the beginning of this. We've tried to give you quick access to data. What are my students doing in Study Island? How are they doing? What should they be doing next? And then the second thing, of course, that next. Let me quickly create an assignment to give them. And so this summer and in this fall, we'll have all of this coming for you to Study Island.
So now I'm going to talk just a little bit about our content updates that are coming this summer and this fall. We know that when your state standards change for your particular state, we need to update our content in Study Island. It's important that your students are working on the standards that they're going to be assessed on when they take your state test, and that we're matching to your state test blueprint. I'm happy to introduce Joseph Duran from our curriculum team, who's going to walk you through what's coming.
Hello everyone, my name is Joseph Durand and I'm a curriculum manager here at Edmentum. Today I'm going to walk you through some of our summer and fall content updates. All Study Island updates start with a careful review of state standards and supporting documents. Our curriculum team is careful to make sure that the items that we create represent the true intent of those state standards. Furthermore, we partner with educators from each of the states that we touch to make sure that the content that we are creating is meeting the needs of the teachers and students in that particular state. This summer, we will be releasing content for Arizona Science, New York Science, Ohio Social Studies, Tennessee Social Studies, Texas Social Studies, grades 6 through 8, and U.S. History in the high school, Texas ELA for K through 8, Kentucky ELA, and Kentucky Math. Let's go into a little more detail on each of these releases. In Arizona Science, the state is now asking students not to just know science, but to actually use science. So we've taken this approach and integrated this into our new items by emphasizing understanding and applying of scientific concepts. Additionally, the Arizona package now includes 3 high school courses: physical science, biology, and earth and space science. We've also included diagnostic pretest in all grade levels. Our New York updates for science focus on 3-dimensional learning, which includes disciplinary core ideas, science and engineering practices, and cross-cutting concepts. The content is also designed to emphasize understanding and applying of scientific concepts, not just memorizing information. This release includes all grade levels 3 through 8 and high school, which includes living environment and earth science. We've also placed an emphasis on engineering design skills. Those skills are not only embedded in other content areas where appropriate, but they have a separate section so that teachers can use it strategically when necessary. The new Ohio Social Studies product for Study Island addresses the breadth and depth of the new standards. Included in this release are assessment items modeled after state release tests. In addition to complex multiple choice items, students will encounter items with multiple parts, multiple response items, matching items, and graphic organizers. There is a strong emphasis on using and interpreting primary and secondary sources in assessment items. The product uses multiple types of assessments throughout grades 3 through 8, as well as in U.S. History for high school. The new Tennessee Study Island Social Studies product covers the extensive content found in the new state standard for grades 3 through 8 and U.S. History in high school. This includes content specific to the history of the state of Tennessee. The new product covers a wider breadth and depth of material commensurate with the new detailed standards. The new items emphasize interpreting a wide variety of documents and sources, including, but not limited to, maps, journals, graphs, speeches, historical accounts, paintings, and propaganda. The new product was written with extensive feedback from educators in Tennessee to ensure that the items and content are grade appropriate. The new social studies content for Texas covers grades 6 through 8, as well as U.S. history in high school. Lessons and assessment items focus on the nuances of the state standard, including an in-depth look at the history of the state of Texas for the 7th grade. We pay special attention to the taxonomic terminology of the standards, with items and lessons focusing on analysis of historical, geographical, economic, social, and cultural issues. The new product includes an emphasis on interpreting primary and secondary source material with a heavy reliance on historical documents. In Texas ELA, we are making sure our content aligns with the TEKS for ELA and reading, which were adopted in 2017. Across the elementary and middle school grade levels, our practice product provides content for the 7 Texas ELA strands, developing and sustaining foundational language skills, comprehension, response, multiple genres, author's purpose and craft, composition, and inquiry and research. New emphasis in our content include responding to literary and informational text, analyzing author's purpose and craft, and practicing the steps of the research and composition process. New composition content covers argumentative, informational, and narrative writing as distinct types. Our new content for Kentucky grades 2 through 8 and grade 10 addresses the state's big changes from the Common Core to state-specific standards in ELA. The biggest change in how we approached the standards is in composition. Instead of treating writing under an umbrella of skills, the new product has distinct coverage that helps students prepare to write argumentative, informational, and narrative texts. This corresponds with Kentucky's new composition standards. In Kentucky Math, there are many nuanced changes to these standards. For example, there were changes in the specificity for geometry and measurement questions, which required us to add more questions for particular shapes and processes, such as finding the area of composite shapes for grade 7 or calculating surface area of solids in grade 8. Additionally, there is now a longer stretch of statistical reasoning reaching further back into the elementary grades. The idea of a statistical question normally begins with grade 6, but the new Kentucky Math standards begin a scaffolding process in grade 3 that help lead up to it. With these changes, we're incorporating a stronger vertical alignment between the grades as the topics progress. We've also added some content to Algebra 2 to allow for more granular topics, such as choosing appropriate units, complex solutions to polynomial equations, and matrix applications and operations. As you can see, we have a robust release happening this summer. All state standards go through the same process, but the final package ends up unique to each state. Our work doesn't end here, as we are already planning ahead to the fall and the winter. This winter, we will be releasing New York Math and ELA, Ohio Science, Texas ELA for high school, Texas Social Studies grades 3 through 5, as well as Virginia Science. We will also release Kentucky Social Studies and Michigan Social Studies for the 2019 to the 2020 school year. I hope you found this content to be helpful and that you are looking forward to our upcoming releases.